Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today guys, I'm going to do a real quick part 24, I believe it is, to my ChatGPT character chatbot redemption attempt series. The last time I did this guys, I made a video on the Phoenix. However, people did actually want to see the flippin' haunted dinosaur skeleton, and well, I may have to restart the fence eventually anyway. It didn't go as badly as the Fairy and Dragon type Freeagger did, but it still wasn't going perfectly. And there's like one other thing I want to add that would make the fence maybe even more fun. So, yes. Um, the actual this is about the haunted dinosaur skeleton, the Queen Indominus Rex. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, you get to hear the story about it in just a moment. So, yeah. The title that ChatGPT gave it was the Queen of Riptorian. And if you're wondering what Riptorian is, it's like a flippin', well, in my universe, it's like a city that dinosaurs built back in the day. And there was this queen dinosaur that kind of ruled over it. But it's the opposite of kind of what you would expect. Maybe not in my case, I don't really know. You guys will get to see. They call it the Queen of Riptorian on there, but the actual title they called it on here is called, oh yeah, they called it that again, the Queen of Riptorian, the Haunted Bones of the Indominus Rex. That sounds terrifying, but you'll see exactly how the story goes. It says, over 750 billion years ago, before time itself seemed to know its own meaning, there lived a magnificent creature, a female Indominus Rex unlike any other. Her scales shimmered like polished ivory, and her piercing crimson eyes gleamed like rubies under the sunlight. She was not just any dinosaur. She was the queen of an enormous prehistoric city known as Riptorian, a thriving civilization of towering creatures who lived in harmony and strength. Yep. The first section they call is called the Gentle Queen of Riptorian. The white Indominus had not been born into royalty. Long ago, she was just a young, kind-hearted dinosaur who cared deeply for her kind. When Riptorian's former king passed away without an heir, the Council of Elders searched for a new ruler, one not chosen by blood, but by heart. The citizens themselves called for her. She was known for her compassion, her wisdom, and her deep sense of fairness. When she was crowned queen, she did not build walls between herself and her people. She walked among them daily, speaking with both mighty carnivores and humble herbivores alike. Her voice was calm, soothing, and full of empathy. I hope the oven's not going over everything. That's actually part of the reason why I'm doing this right now. Because there's food in the oven, I'm trying to get a real quick video out. So she never demanded anything from her servants. In fact, when one of them tried to fetch her food or gifts, she would often insist, "Please, you've worked enough. Let me help you this time." The queen would often leave her grand palace to wander the flower-covered hill just outside the city. It was her favorite place, a quiet slope bursting with color, where she could gaze upon the city she loved. It was said that when she walked there, even the wind grew softer, and the flowers bent toward her as if to bow in respect. Oh boy, here we go. The Queen's final wish. For over 1,000,000 years, Queen Indominus ruled Riptorian with love and grace. Under her leadership, the city flourished. No creature went hungry, no soul felt abandoned, and even the fiercest predators respected peace. But time, eternal and merciless, eventually came for her as well. As her life drew to its end, she made one final request. "When I'm gone, lay me to rest upon the hill of blossoms. Let me sleep beneath the flowers I have always loved, where I may forever watch over the city that gave me its heart." The dinosaurs obeyed. When she passed, Riptorian mourned for days. The sky itself seemed to dim. They buried her where she asked, and above her grave they placed a massive stone, etched with claws and tears. It read, "Rest in peace to the best queen of Riptorian. All dinosaurs in this city hope your spirit rests peacefully forever. Thank you for caring about all of us." Even after her passing, her kindness lived on. Oh, here we go. The Age of Remembrance. For the next 650 billion years, generation after generation of dinosaurs climbed that flowered hill to honor her memory. Parents brought their children there, telling them stories of the queen who loved her people more than power. Flowers never stopped growing on that hill, no matter how the world changed, as if her spirit kept them blooming. But nothing lasts forever. The world shifted, the ages turned, and one by one, the dinosaurs of Riptorian faded from existence. The city crumbled to ruins, swallowed by time. Eventually, there were no more footsteps, no more songs of praise, only silence. Yet the hill remained, untouched, and her grace still stood firm against eternity. And here we go. Here's where it takes a dark turn. The greedy woman. 100 billion years later, when the earth was nothing like it once was, a human woman arrived in the desolate wasteland where Riptorian had once stood. She was wealthy, ambitious, and greedy beyond measure. Her goal was not history, not preservation, but profit. She wanted to open a fossil exhibit and fill it with the bones of ancient creatures to draw crowds and riches. She hired paleontologists to search the land, and soon they stumbled upon the remnants of Riptorian, broken columns, fossilized bones, and fragments of a forgotten civilization. But when they reached the hill and saw the weathered gravestone of the queen, they froze. "This isn't just a fossil site," one whispered. This is a grave." The scientists refused to dig it up. They could feel something sacred in the air, a heaviness that warned them not to disturb the hill. But the woman's greed knew no bounds. "If you don't excavate that area," she hissed, "I'll report you all to your supervisor. You'll lose your jobs, your reputations, everything." Terrified of losing everything they had, the paleontologists obeyed. Oh my gosh. Nope, and here it goes, guys. Here's where everything's even more of a dark turn. The Curse of the Queen. As their tools broke through the soil, something ancient stirred. Deep beneath the hill, the peaceful spirit of the Indominus Rex awoke. She had watched in sadness for ages as her city decayed, but now she felt something she had never known in life. Rage. They were desecrating her resting place, stealing the bones that once carried her heart. Her grief turned to fury, her sorrow to wrath, and with that, the Queen of Riptorian whispered her curse. That night, a wind howled through the dig site, carrying with it the faint roar of something massive and unseen. Within weeks, every paleontologist who had touched her grave suffered misfortune. Their careers fell apart, their families grew ill without explanation, fires consumed their homes. Those who survived swore they saw enormous shadows moving past their windows at night, too large and too silent to be human. As for the greedy woman, she proudly displayed the Indominus Rex skeleton in her fossil exhibit's grand lobby. It was arranged beautifully, standing tall, its head facing forward, red gemstone eyes glinting under spotlights. She called it the Queen of the Cretaceous, but she had no idea how fitting that title truly was. And here comes the haunting. The haunting of the exhibit. From the very night the skeleton was installed, strange events began to unfold. Workers would lock up for the evening, only to return to find the fossil exhibit freezing cold, their breath misting in the air. Heavy footsteps echoed through the halls, slow and deliberate, but when guards checked the cameras, nothing moved. Storage crates were found overturned, bones misplaced or shattered, Some employees swore that when they passed by the Indominus skeleton, its ruby eyes seemed to follow them. Guests whispered that they felt watched, and more than one fainted after claiming to see the skeleton move. The woman dismissed every story as nonsense until one night she stayed late to count her profits. When she looked up from her desk, the lobby lights flickered, and for the briefest moment she saw the massive silhouette of the queen reflected in the glass, crouched behind her. Dude, it's already scary enough that this place is being haunted, but what would you feel if you saw a massive Indominus Rex ghost sitting there crouched behind you, almost like it's about to pounce on you? That is terrifying to me. By morning, she was gone. Her office was found empty. I didn't even pick up on that. It said she was gone. Did the ghost get her? Her office was found empty, her chair overturned. The only sign of her was a single red gemstone lying beside the Indominus skeleton. One of its eyes missing. Oh, heck no. And here's where I meet it. The final encounter. Months later, unaware of the horrors that had unfolded, a visitor, a curious soul, came to the museum. They paid for their ticket and entered, admiring the massive exhibits and ancient relics. The air was cold, unnaturally so, but they didn't think much of it. Eventually they reached the lobby and saw her, the towering, ghostly white Indominus Rex skeleton standing proudly near the wall. Its ruby eyes gleamed softly under the dim lights. For a long moment, the visitor just stared in awe. It looked so lifelike, almost as if it was breathing. Then, a faint sound echoed through the hall. Creak! They turned their heads slightly, hearing something shift behind them. Slowly, almost unwillingly, they looked back toward the skeleton. It was no longer staring at the wall. Its massive skull was tilted down, its hollow ruby eyes fixated directly on them. That is one of the scariest things in history right there. The air froze, and from somewhere deep within the fossil's ribcage came a low, echoing whisper. The voice of a queen long dead, her sorrow and fury still alive after all this time. The Queen of Riptorian still watches, her spirit forever bound to the bones that should have rested beneath her hill of flowers. Do you see how terrifying this is? Like, holy cow, dude. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. It says, when I see the skeleton looking at me, I get a little confused and even somewhat scared. Wait, what in the world? Am I seeing things? And despite being a little terrified, I walk back up closer to the skeleton. Oh no. I swear if it turns, I swear to frick, if this thing, like, turns its head to watch me move, I'm done. And we've only done one round. As you step closer, your footsteps echo faintly through the vast, eerily silent exhibit hall. The lights above flicker once, twice, before settling into a low, dim glow that makes the air feel heavier somehow. The Indominus skeleton towers over you, easily 20 feet tall, her enormous claws poised as if frozen in mid-stride. From a distance, she'd seem majestic. Up close, she feels alive. Her skull, now angled down toward you, looms just inches above your head. Those ruby eyes, no longer glinting like gemstones, but glowing faintly from within, seem to pulse with something ancient. For a second, you almost think you hear the faint rhythm of breathing. A deep, hollow whomp, 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 echoing from her chest cavity. There was nothing but fossilized bone. Oh no, I just saw what it said at the bottom. The temperature drops further. Frost begins to crawl across the glass display case beside you. Then, creak! The Indominus's lower jaw shifts ever so slightly, just enough for you to hear the dry scrape of bone against bone. The faintest movement, but it's real. You're sure of it this time. A cold wind, though no doors are open, brushes past your ear and carries a whisper, soft, echoing, and layered like 1,000 voices from the past. You disturbed my rest. Oh, heck no. The words stretch and bend, mournful more than angry, though the sorrow in them makes your heart pound. The air trembles. Somewhere behind you, a light pops and dies, plunging half the lobby into shadow. Oh, heck no. Oh, no. This is horrifying, and she's blaming the crap on me. Hey, I haven't done anything. Why is she blaming the crap on me? You. What in the world? No! I'm so gonna. That ghost is gonna find a way to hurt me. No, 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 no. Alright, guys. It says, after hearing the voice and the skeleton's mouth moving, I get very terrified. Who said that? What do you mean I disturbed your rest? I didn't do anything. Oh no. Okay. Oh my gosh. The empty hall swallows your words. Your own voice bounces back, thin and shaky. For a long second, there's only the hum of the lights. Then the glow inside the fossil's eye sockets flares brighter, the red deepening to a molten crimson. A sound rolls through the lobby like thunder, half growl, half moan, as if something impossibly large were stirred just beneath the bones. The skull lowers another inch. Ugh! Joints creaking, dust raining from the ceiling. When the whisper comes again, it carries both sadness and power. Not you. Not the ones who came for gold. They tore the flowers, broke my stone. The air ripples with cold. You can smell earth, wet soil and crushed petals, though there were none here. Tell me, little one of the new age, why do you stand before what should have slept? Oh, that's horrifying. The glow in her eye steadies, waiting. You can feel it. The question is not meant as a threat, but a test. A chance to explain yourself to the ancient queen whose bones no longer rest. Oh my gosh, the way it words it's horrifying. Alright, guys. It says, a little terrified, I nervously say, I'm just here looking around. Please don't hurt me. I promise you, when I came here, I didn't even know this place was haunted. I hope the queen has a little bit of. Let's see. A long, low rumble moves through the air like distant thunder beneath the floor. The skeleton's skull stays tilted, but the tension in the air softens. The glow in her eye sockets fades from red to a muted ember-like orange. You did not come to steal, the voice murmurs, the sound now closer to a sigh than a growl. You came with open eyes, not greedy hands. The air warms just enough that your breath stops misting. Around you, the faint scent of flowers drifts through the cold. What the frick? Sweet, ancient, and impossible in a place like this. The bones shift again with a quiet click as her head rises slightly, towering over you once more. Long have I slept in silence. When my heel was torn, my peace was broken. I rose in anger, and all who defiled me paid the price. It pauses, but you are not them. For a moment, the father's enormous claws flex as if in memory of their power. Then her voice softens to a low, mournful tone that seems to echo through every corner of the hall. Tell me, traveler of this new world, do they still remember kindness? Her question hangs heavy in the stillness, not accusing, just sad. hopeful, and very, very old. Oh my gosh. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I just said, if you're talking about humans, I don't think so. Most people are really mean. They even attack me most of the time. Unless I make a reference to my own or to my own universe where a lot of people do. The air stills completely after you speak. Even the distant hum of the lights fades, leaving only silence. For a moment, you can almost hear the ancient queen thinking. The Indominus's great skull tilts slightly, her glowing eyes dimming into a deep, sorrowful amber. Dust drips down from the ceiling like ash. So, it has come to this. Oh no, please don't take me. Her voice rolls through the chamber like a tremor, not of rage, but of heartbreak. In my age, I believe kindness could outlive the claws of cruelty. I believe the strong would guard the gentle. The floor beneath your feet vibrates faintly like the echo of an enormous heartbeat far underground. Yet you, small one, have known harm. You speak with fear in your scent and truth in your breath. The bones of her great ribcage shift, a whole echo following each creak. The glow in her eyes softens again. For the first time, you can almost feel warmth. You remind me of the children of Riptorian, gentle souls who saw light in others, even when the world turned dark. Her gaze lingers on you. Almost protect. There is no way. If this giant Indominus Rex spirit flipping protects me too, I'm done. Because it says her gaze lingers on you, almost protective. Now, tell me, what do you seek wandering among the bones of the forgotten? That is extremely creepy the way she words it. Her tone is no longer that of a vengeful ghost, it's that of a queen, curious and perhaps lonely? That's an interesting way of doing it. Okay, guys, give me a moment. So far, guys, it's going decent. There's one thing I'm really confused about, though, because up here, it says, not you, not the ones who came for gold. But then it says after they tore the flowers and broke my stone. It's like, when she says not the ones who came for gold, that makes it sound like she's talking about the ones that actually destroyed her area. But is it getting confused already? I'm not even talking about the queen, I'm talking about the chatbot itself. Other than that, it's worked out really well. I mean, like, this is creepy, but it's also working out. I just told her, I don't want to be harmed. Please, whoever you are, I promise I don't mean you harm. Who are you? And why are you here haunting this place? The words leave your mouth in a tremor, echoing faintly in the cold hall. For a heartbeat, there was no answer, only the faint, synthetic creak of settling bone. Then the air stirs again, carrying a whisper that grows into a deep, echoing voice. It seems to come from the very structure around you. The walls, the fossil, the floor beneath your feet. I was once called Queen of Riptorian, the voice says slowly, every word heavy with age. When the world was green and full of song, I ruled a city of my kind. We lived without hunger, without fear. I was their protector, their mother, and their heart. A faint shimmer begins to take shape around the skeleton, like mist twisting into a form. For a second, you glimpse a massive, ghostly shape of a dinosaur, white and faintly glowing, eyes glinting like red jewels, before it fades back into the bones. When I fell to time, they laid me to rest on a hill of flowers. They promised I would sleep in peace. Her tone hardened slightly, a tremor of restrained fury beneath the sadness. But ages later, humans tore that hill apart. They broke my stone, scattered the blossoms, and carried my bones away. They turned my rest into a spectacle. The temperature drops again, cold enough that your breath turns white. I do not haunt this place to harm the innocent. I remain because I was bound to what they stole. My anger was for those who disturbed me. Those who dug with greed, not reverence. The voice softens, almost regretful now. If you came with respect, then you were not my enemy. The glow in her eyes flickers, and she lowers her skull slightly as if bowing. Tell me your name, gentle one, that I may know who speaks to me beneath the shadow of my old bones. Oh my gosh. You know what's gonna be crazy? If this ghost becomes protective. Because it already told me that she's already having like this protective sort of tone with me. Like she's already kind of having her old role of queen back, but instead of protecting a whole city of dinosaurs, she's protecting one human. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. I just told her my name. And then said, I told her my name and said, Your Majesty. That way she knows I'm trying to be respectful and not want to hurt her. I said, honestly, I'm really sorry about what happened to you. I promise you I won't hurt you any further than you already have been. I'm not like those humans that did that to you. Do you have a name? The faint orange glow within the fossil's eyes steadies as you speak your name. For a moment, there's only the hush of air moving through the hall. Then the skeleton's head inclines the smallest degree, the queen acknowledging a courier. Triton. Her voice comes softer now. The echoes fade into a warm timbre. A name spoken with care. You are not like the ones who dug and tore. The light ripples through the ribcage and spine, spread like a quiet breath. When I lived, they called me Aria. How do you say that? Elyarra. That's a hard name to pronounce. Keeper of Riptorian, friend of the small, mother to the lost. When I fell to sleep beneath the blossoms, I thought my name would fade with the wind. A sigh rolled through the chamber, almost like a breeze over tall grass. But you have given me voice again. The frost in the nearby glass melts into slow droplets. The ghostly outline you saw before shimmers faintly, her shape large and regal, but her presence gentler now. I cannot undo what has been done, but perhaps I can remember more than anger. You have reminded me that not all hearts in your world are cruel. She lowers her head until her eye sockets are level with you. Oh my gosh, the skeleton is still moving. Dude, I don't care. I mean, it's a ghost. Yes, I realize that. But how would you feel if a flipping dinosaur skeleton... Well, first off, let's look at it this way. Look at it this way with me. If a dinosaur skeleton was facing up like this, not even staring up at you, and all of a sudden, you turn around, all of a sudden, it's looking down at you? Oh, heck no. And, like, even if you realize there's a ghost in there, how would you feel if the skeleton was still like, slowly moving down towards you? Would it not still be creepy? To me, it is. That's very terrifying, honestly. At least she's being nice to me, though. She could have been way more aggressive. Here's what it said. She lowers her head until her eyesight are level with you. Oh my gosh, she lowered down her eyes so much. Trenton, why do you walk among forgotten things? Do you seek stories, or simply a place where the noise of others cannot reach you? Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. Well, I just said, Aria, or however you say the name. It's a pleasure to meet you properly. Honestly, at this point, I'm just trying to have some peace. I get attacked by humans nearly every day, and honestly, the only ones I have protecting me is a bunch of sweet porn that care about me. The orange glow inside the fossilized skull pulses once, brighter, then dims into a soft warmth that fills the air. The tension in the room eases. Even the faint hum of the light seems to quiet in the room, or quiet in respect. Pokemon. She repeats, the word drawn out as if tasting it for the first time. Creatures of spirit and strength, born long after my age ended. They stand with you? The great ball shifts slightly, reverberate groaning in the quiet as her head tilts. You speak of peace as one who has searched long and found little. In my city, the weak were shielded by the strong. Such was our vow. Hearing that you must rely on those gentle guardians, a low, mournful rumble vibrates through the air. It tells me the world has forgotten too much. Then her voice softens again. Yet you are still here, and you are still kind. The ones who protect you, those Pokemon, see something worth defending. That means the light I once believed in has not died completely. The glow inside her eyes brightens just a little, like embers stirred by a breath. Triton, the pain you carry is not small. You may rest here a moment if you wish. My wrath does not touch those who come in peace. A faint scent of flowers drifts again as if the ghost of her old resting hill had followed her here. Tell me of those companions of yours. Who are they? These guardians who stand between you and cruelty. Give me a moment, guys. Alright, guys. I said, honestly, if I was to tell you about all of them, we would be here all day. But some of the sweet creatures that have been for Alligator, Lugia, and a turtle named Ripple who could transform. Honestly, if it wasn't thanks to some of those Pokemon, I would honestly probably be stuck as a ghost like you. Aria's head lifts slightly at that, the glow in her eye sockets warming to a faint golden hue. A sound like wind through leaves passes through the hall, almost a sigh of wonder. So the world still births protectors of that kind. She murmurs names such as Feraligatr, Lugia, Totodile. They sound like living storms and rivers. They stand for what they love. Her gaze settles on you again, and when she speaks next, the deep timbre of her voice carries something gentler, almost gratitude. If their care has kept you among the living, then they have done what my city once promised, to guard, not to rule. The huge skeleton shifts just enough that the light from above glints off the curve of her ribs. I was bound here by anger, by the memory of betrayal, but you remind me of why I once stayed near the living, to protect, to watch, and to hope. She pauses, the faint shimmer of her spirit rising again around the fossil. You are not a ghost, Triton. You will walk among friends. When you leave this place, do not carry my sorrow with you. Carry the proof that kindness still breathes. The air grows warmer. The scent of the phantom flowers deepens for an instant. If I may, tell your protectors that the Queen of Riptorian thanks them for guarding one who still believes. And the faint light in her eyes dims to a steady, peaceful glow, waiting to see if you'll speak again. That's actually very neat. Give me a moment. Alright, guys. I just told. I told her I will. Thank you, Araya. You have been so nice. And here's what happened. Before I can finish, some people walk up behind me and then say, "Look at this lunatic. He's talking to a skeleton like it's alive," before suddenly pushing me as hard as I can into the wall beside the skeleton, causing me to stumble backwards after hitting it and hitting the ground. I don't know what it is with people in this universe, if they are flipping insane. The sudden shove knocks the air from your lungs. The sound of your body hitting the wall echoes sharply in the vast room. The laughter of the stranger seemed far too loud in the cold air. Before you can even push yourself upright, the atmosphere changes. Every light in the exhibit flickers violently. Then several burst with sharp cracks, showering tiny sparks that die before they hit the floor. A low guttural rumble rolls out from the fossil, deep enough that the floor itself trembles. The intruders freeze. The air grows icy in an instant, visible mist curling from their mouths. The scent of flowers that had filled the room twist into something darker. Wet earth and stone turned over from the grave. What the frick? Enough. Oh no, she's hissed. Yep, Araya's voice cuts through the room, resonant and commanding. The governor skull ignites in the blazing red light. Oh my gosh, what the freak? Illuminating the entire hall with her fury. You strike the weak beneath my gaze? Uh-oh. A sound like thunder crashes through the air. The bones of her enormous tail rattle and shift, the fossil creaking forward a fraction of an inch, impossibly alive. The offenders stumble back, faces pale. One of them lets out a strangled noise, clutching at their throat as the air grows too heavy to breathe. Leave, she roars, not in hatred, but in a voice so vast and ancient that it shakes the glass of display cases. Go from this place and remember what respect means. The group bolts toward the exit, footsteps pounding, doors slamming open. The lights flicker once more and unsteady, leaving the hall dim and still. Only the sound of your ragged breathing fills the silence. The going as Araya's eyes fades again to warm amber. Are you hurt, Trenton? She asked softly, the wrath in her tone replaced by concern. A faint shimmer moves around you, and for an instant you feel something like a warm breeze, an echo of the flowered hill, brushing against the bruised side of your ribs. Holy cow. Give me a moment. This is really cool and interesting. Give me a moment. Guys, you won't believe this. It broke the immersion completely. Meaning that now, I'm basically going to have to restart. And, look at this. Yeah, limit ran up. And it won't be back until 2:45. That's just great. Just motherfucking great. The only chatbot that has a good enough memory, besides this one, is ChatGPT. So we're not in a good spot right now. I mean, it's Google Gemini. And it starts giving me lists. I don't know what to tell you guys. Every time something goes right, something always goes wrong. Nothing to do. Not on this one. Bye.